Assalamu alaikum. Hope you all are fine. In this video, we will learn about the preparation of ethers or the reactions to form ethers. First of all, we will see the Williamson synthesis, that is the conversion of alcohols to ethers. So, firstly, as you can see, there is a compound that has negative and positive charge on it. And why it gains these kinds of charges? Because when alcohol, that is, it's in this position that contains hydroxyl ion, and when the sodium react with this alcohol, it forms a bond, it exchanges the position with the hydrogen and forms this kind of compound that has partial positive and partial negative charge on it. Then it further react with the alkyl halide, and when it react with the alkyl halide, the negative charge on the oxygen will attack on the carbon that is directly attached with the halide group and forms a bond with that carbon, and this halide group or chlorine will attach with the partial positive charge sodium, and this partial positive charge and this negative charge will form the bond and form a salt, that is sodium chloride, and our final product, that is ether. And the other example is also same, but with the different halide, and this will also forms a bond with the this oxygen negative will form the bond with the carbon that has positive charge on it, and this bromine will breaks its bond with the carbon and forms a new bond with the sodium, so it will form the sodium bromide. And the other is different different halide group, and when it react uh, uh, with the alcohol, and when it is does not directly react with the alcohol, it when the alcohol react with sodium metal or sodium hydroxide, that acts as a base, and from this base or sodium metal, it the sodium reacts as a electrophile, and it will exchange its position with the hydrogen of alcohol and forms a bond with the oxygen, and this compound will further react with the alkyl halides and forms a bond with the oxygen and the carbon that is directly attached with the halide group, and this will form the bond and form ether molecule, and final the byproduct that contains the sodium positive charge from the alcohol, and the iodine or halide negative charge from the alkyl halide, and this will form the sodium iodide. So its byproduct is sodium bromide, and its byproduct is sodium iodide. So these are the conversion of alcohols to ethers, and this is also known as Williamson synthesis. So the other is the dehydration of alcohols, means the removal of water molecule from the alcohol. As you can see, the first is the alcohol that we take as ethanol. Ethanol has two carbons attached with the hydroxyl group, and we add sulfuric acid in it along with the presence of proton, and then this proton will attach with the oxygen, and the oxygen will gain positive charge, partial positive charge. This is a temporary compound that forms after the bond formation with hydrogen, and from this compound the water molecule is removed, and this bond will be break, and this will remove as a water molecule, and then the final product product after the bond breakage is the positive charge, and it is a unstable compound. Then this unstable compound will react with the other alcohol, and with the SN1 mechanism that contains a two-step mechanism, and it will attach with the oxygen of the alcohol and forms a bond with the oxygen. So basically when it forms a bond with the oxygen, it will become like the compound that it is, and the positive charge, due to this positive charge, it is unstable. To uh, to uh, to uh, to form it a stable compound, we have to we have to uh, break the bond with between the oxygen and hydrogen, as it is more easy to break the bond with the oxygen and carbon. So basically when this hydrogen uh, release or breaks the bond between hydrogen and oxygen, the oxygen will gain its electron, and it will become stable, and the hydrogen that breaks the bond with the oxygen will be released as a proton, that is hydrogen positive ion, and the final product we get is this ether, that is because both of the sides have ethyl group, and the name of ether will be diethyl ether. So the other is reaction of alkyl halides with dry silver oxide. So alkyl halides the reaction with the dry silver oxide will form the diethyl ether as a final product. So we can, as you can see, the mechanism of the alkyl halides with the dry silver oxide. So firstly, when the ethyl iodide react with the dry silver oxide, it forms a bond with the carbon that is directly attached with the halide group and forms a bond. And finally the bond will be formed, and the oxygen will attach with the carbon that is directly attached to the halide group. So then the oxygen further attach the other alkyl halide and forms a bond. Finally we will get the diethyl ether as a final product, and the byproduct we get is the silver iodide. So this is the reaction of alkyl halide with di silver oxide. The other is the reaction of ethers with hydrogen halide. So firstly, when the ether react with the hydrogen halide or hydrogen, as you can see, this is the acid, that is a hydrogen chloride, or we this from this acid, a hydrogen positive ion will attach with the oxygen atom of the ether and forms a bond, and it is a temporary stage in which dialkyl oxonium chloride form, and the whole ether and the hydrogen that is attached with the oxygen will form the whole as a positive charge, and the chlorine will get the negative charge. So the other example is also the diethyl ether, and which react with same conditions, and the final product we get is diethyl oxonium chloride. So these are the unstable compounds or unstable intermediate that forms in the reaction of ethers with the hydrogen halide. So the next is the reaction of ether with hydrogen iodide, and when the ether react with the hydrogen iodide, the from the hydrogen iodide, the hydrogen will forms a bond with the oxygen of the ether and forms positive charge, or the oxygen will get positive charge due to the less electron density, and the iodine that will then gain a negative charge, and to gain its stability, it will then react with the carbon that is directly attached with the oxygen in the ether, and forms a bond with the iodine or alkyl group. So in this ether, the both in the ether, the methyl groups are in on the both sides of the ether, and this methyl group will react with the iodine and forms the methyl iodide, and the other is will form alcohol, that is alcohol, and it is a primary alcohol. So this is the reaction of ether with the hydrogen halide. Thank you so much. Take care. Allah Hafiz.